The United Nations Refugee Agency, UNHCR, say more than 1 million migrants have arrived in Europe by sea in 2015.
This is a staggering increase over just 12 months. At the end of 2014, we had 219,000 arrivals on the Mediterranean to Europe. That was already a record. This is almost 5 times that level. In addition, tragically, we're also seeing an increase in the number of deaths. Almost 4,000 lives lost in 2015. Proportionately, that's a smaller number than the 3,500 lives that were lost in 2014. Nonetheless, it's equivalent to, for example, the passenger load of 5, 6, 7 or more jumbo jets having crossed the Mediterranean in a year. It's really a staggering total.
Most of the migrants who entered Europe in 2015 came across the Mediterranean or the Aegean Seas, half of which were Syrians fleeing the war. According to UNHCR, another 20% were Afghans and 7% Iraqis. Smuggling operations are said to have accounted for the majority of journeys, with gangs said to have earned more than $1 billion smuggling migrants in 2015. Estimates suggest people smugglers in Europe have made at least $10 billion since the year 2000.
I think the staggering number of arrivals on the Mediterranean this year, the 4,000 lives that have been lost, the fact that people are continuing to arrive. Even today we've had almost 4,000 people arriving on the Aegean Islands. This all begs the question, why is it that 1 million people have to arrive in Europe by smugglers' boat? I think there has to be much more focus on safe and regular alternatives to this. And those alternatives do exist. You have visa programs, you have resettlement programs, you have other arrangements. A much more serious focus on those kind of alternatives is going to be needed.
The record movement of people into Europe is a symptom of a record level of disruption around the globe, with numbers of refugees and internally displaced people far surpassing 60 million globally.
Sadly, the underlying causes of these movements, which are the conflicts we're seeing in the world, are not going away. We expect, therefore, more people to arrive in 2016. And that, too, means there has to be much more work on finding sustainable solutions to this situation. At the moment, we have had improvements in 2015 in the sense that there's better search and rescue on the Mediterranean. But reception conditions, reception arrangements in Europe, proper screening, proper facilities, proper distribution of people around Europe, additional resettlement from the region, and further funding for the situations of refugees in other parts of the world, such as surrounding Syria and elsewhere. Those measures still need a lot of work on them. So we have a great deal of work ahead of us to do on trying to bring about better international management of this situation.
The war in Syria was only one among many causes which has resulted in the worst refugee crisis seen in Europe since World War II. Others include the Ebola virus, Boko Haram in West Africa, an earthquake in Nepal, and conflicts in Libya, Yemen, South Sudan, the Central African Republic, Afghanistan and Iraq.